Ahoy there. Permission to come aboard, everyone. Welcome. Welcome aboard the SS Smoke Circle. Hey, this is High Tales of History. We're a history podcast where two sisters get stoned and surprise each other with a delightful story from the past. I'm both your big sister and your captain. I'm Laurel. I was like, what's my name?
Who made you captain?
my co-captain / first mate today. Well, it's my episode, so like I get to be the captain today.
Do we each trade off being captain then?
Yeah. So you're like co-captain, and then
right,
next week you'll be captain. I'll be your first mate, and then like you could be in charge.
That makes me
Katie,
your co-captain.
There we are. We're Laurel. We're Katie, and Katie, thank you for going along on that little ride with me. I was like, I really am going to lean into.
I'm always ready.
My yearning.
Have you
for
seen
the
us
seas.
play charades, my dearest sister?
I've been yearning for the seas. I've got my white. This is actually by chance. Got my white cable knit sweater on. Just kind of feel like and also by chance I have a Titanic mug. So I just feel like I need to look out the window.
What's in said Titanic mug?
It's coffee. It's coffee. But
lovely.
Yeah.
Tea.
But yeah, tea. Yeah. Thanks for knowing what was going to happen here. Our listeners, they know because they've seen the title and topic of our episode today. But thanks for
I don't know.
Thanks for getting on board with it.
Always.
You are what is referred to as just ride or die. You know, she's going to be in. She's going to be strapped into it, locked in, just all the ins. Speaking of being in and having adventures, Katie just got back from London recently. And may I say, you caught a Kim Dracula show while you were there. You saw one in Camden. That was great. The picture that you posted, is it okay if I put it up here for the people of your meet and greet with Kim Dracula?
Oh, sure, if you want to.
You're back. Okay. You looked amazing, by the way. Your outfit was just like
thank you.
Perfection. Like you looked so good. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to, I screenshotted it.
Thank you.
But I was going to ask you if I could put it up because y'all need to see how cool Katie looked.
I'll just send you the actual picture. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you looked great as hell. Anyway, I'll put it up so everyone can see it because she looked fucking amazing. Also, can you also tell the people, I'm so excited about this. I'm trying not to like cry thinking about it, but can you tell the people what experience you were finally able to have for the first time in years?
Yeah, that was it was really funny actually, because I was telling them, because the meet and greet is before the show, but I was telling everyone this at the meet and greet, because I went on Reddit, everybody. I went on Reddit. When you know how to navigate Reddit safely, it is a wonderful place. And I ended up on this group of people who suffer from seizure disorders. And what I kept seeing, this reoccurring theme of, we went to this company, it's called TheraSpecs, Thera like therapy, TheraSpecs, and it worked. And what convinced me to buy them, I remember I showed this to Blake and he's like, ordered them immediately, is this girl goes, I have I have bigger seizures, I'm photosensitive from strobe lights and stuff, and I can never go to shows. So for those of you who don't know, I've been blindfolding with like a sleep mask. Also, best $13 I ever spent. Complete blackout. I don't see any strobes. It blocks everything because it has kind of like a memory foam around it. So it's like,
I have that one too.
So it's a great sleep mask. It's very comfortable. Yeah. It's very comfortable and it works. So I've always been blindfolded. So this girl said, you know what I did? I bought those fuckers and I went to a fucking rave. I quote were her words. And I was like, sold.
So Katie, you've always been blindfolded for quite a number of years now, and you go to so many shows, and you can never watch the shows with your eyes, including Blake's shows. Blake is in a band, and she hasn't been able to watch Blake's shows either. And you were finally able to, with your eyes, with the aid of these glasses, watch a show.
I was front row.
Oh, girl.
I was on the barrier, front row. Getting blasted by strobes, by the way. I didn't have And I got to see the whole show. I walked out of my own volition. That's a success in and of itself. I cried so fucking hard through the first 4 songs. My glasses fogged up. And I was in front of Tsuzumi, who's the bassist, and she is the fucking coolest. I'm not even ashamed of my tears. You don't know. Don't cry. Don't be a little baby. You don't know what that moment meant. You know, like, it was a big deal. Because, like, I don't get to watch any of this stuff, you know, and it's more than just. It's more than just that moment, right? It's all the moments you missed up until then.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you can't drive. You don't have independence. You can't get in the shower by yourself. You can't get in the bath by yourself because you could seize and drown yourself. You know, there's certain, you can't, you know, obvious stuff. You can't climb on ladders without somebody around or stuff like that. Or like, you know, there's plenty of times where I have to like, I can't watch certain, like the new Predator movie that I love so much. I had to like cover up for the whole end of that. I've seen the whole movie now because of the glasses, because there's a whole flashing scene in it. You know, I was never able to watch that before. So like, it takes a very small, your world gets really small, right? And it takes that and it just like, it was like a little magic wand, you know?
Mm-hmm.
At least I'm not the only one crying.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that was a big deal. I thought maybe I thought maybe I had gotten over it, because when I got, and this is what I was telling Larry and Kim at the meet and greet, I said, I have anti-seizure glasses. I'm actually going to see you tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And Larry looks at me, he goes, really? Those exist? I was like, dude, right? I was like, and then I told them the Reddit review. I've never seen Kim perform like in front of me ever. And I was like, I'm crying like a baby, dude. Oh.
No, I saw your post with your rad looking outfit and the biggest smile on your face backstage with Kim Dracula and your caption.
Not backstage. It's just at the meet and greet, but yeah.
Whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yes.
But yes, because at the meet and greet. But that saying that you were finally able to see a show, and I sat there and I looked at that post for the longest time, and I was like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry.
What a great experience so far. And London was awesome. Show aside, London was fucking amazing. I got to see Van Gogh paintings, which I have never seen. I didn't even know they were there. I was like,
nice.
Dude. Oh, I got to see Da Vinci too. No, Da Vinci, right? Wait, who did the Mona Lisa?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Da Vinci.
Da Vinci. Okay, I was like, wait, was that like, that's not one of the turtles.
Leonardo, yeah, actually.
Oh yeah, my bad. Okay, Da Vinci. One of the turtles. Yeah.
The 5th turtle, Da Vinci.
But all that to be said, it was a great fucking trip. It was a life-changing moment. It was rad.
Excellent.
But avast, matey. We have spoken too long about this. Please,
avast and ahoy.
Take me on a journey.
Let's get the hell out of here, right? The world is a dumpster fire. Guys, on behalf of America, I'm so sorry. You guys all doing okay? We're not doing okay. SOS.
I was like, I don't think they need help. I think we do.
Help us. So we're gonna leave these shores. Let's hop aboard the SS Smoke Circle. Let's get the fuck out of here, you guys. Spark one up. We're gonna leave the doom scrolling at the shore, and we're gonna shove off and go find some pirates.
I can't wait. I love pirates.
November, 1720, Spanish town, Jamaica. We are at the tail end of what history considers the Golden Age of Piracy. So imagine, with my little rainbow movement hands here, the Golden Age of Piracy, that it was just like glitter and sparkles. I don't know how to edit that. Yes.
We began this podcast with pirates. Do you remember that?
Haven't we? Yes. Yeah, we sure did. All of our basically, I'm gonna say it now, all of our pirate episodes are gonna be in our show notes. Because
Oh,
if you
hell
wanna hear more
yeah.
pirates, they're all down there. We've got a bunch of pirates we've talked about. The Golden Age of Piracy is considered, like, 1650s. It's like the middle of the, uh, 17th century. Like, count backwards, to about 1730, and we'll talk a little bit later about what that means, and more about pirates in general, but
It's
first
when Captain Jack Sparrow was alive, obviously.
basically, yeah,
Don't lie to me.
obviously. Yeah,
Duh.
of course. But first we've got a trial. All right.
Dude, just so you know, sorry, I had to tell you.
Get it?
Because you did, was it you? I think it was you who did the episode on Edward Teach. I killed a trivia question and I won the night. Just wanted you to know that. Carry on.
I think you did. We haven't done Edward Teach, aka Blackbeard, but I know he gets talked about in some episodes of ours.
Okay, maybe that's what it was. Either way, I knew
You
who
did
he
one
was.
okay, because you did one on Captain Kidd, and I think he
remember
comes
Captain
up in that
Kidd.
episode.
That's what it was. Oh, I did that? Well,
Yeah, girl.
thank you, self. Thank you,
Yeah.
Pat Katie. Coming in clutch. What a
I mean, I will take your accolades, but I don't deserve them in this moment here. So
you always
thank
deserve
you.
them.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So here we are at a pirate trial. Okay. They, as in the pirates, they've been captured. They're on trial for piracy, which comes with the death sentence, right? If you're a pirate, if you're found guilty of it, which you're going to be found guilty of if there's any sort of evidence whatsoever, that comes with a death sentence. And a handful of the other crew members, including the ship's captain, had already had their trial and received their sentence of death in a few days prior. But two of their other crew members have their own separate trial. And at their trial, they also received their sentence of death. But those two pirates had a couple of Uno reverse cards up their sleeves.
Always handy for a rainy day.
Which is so handy, right? They're like, hang on, have you seen this before? Uno reverse. Bah, back at you. To know these pirates, these two pirates here, it's best to first introduce them through their time under the command of Captain John Rackham, aka Calico Jack. Just fun. You had a little aha face. Named such because of the colorful clothing that he wore. Fun. He sounds fun. He's reckless. He's bold. He loved the ladies. It's even rumored that he had a harem of women on the coast of Cuba somewhere.
That does not surprise
All right,
me,
Jack,
actually.
chill out. I mean, maybe he was hot. I don't know. Probably not, though. But John Rackham, Calico Jack. And he was a quartermaster on another ship commanded by Captain Vane, another pirate. Even though we don't know his name, in the, the pirate grades of history, Captain Vane was also like a really prolific pirate during this time period. So
I've
is
heard
another
his name
pirate
before.
Oh, have you?
Black Sails?
He probably would have been in that, yeah.
I think I've heard it there, yeah. But
Okay.
interesting.
There he is. So John Rackham served under Captain Captain Vane. And when Vane didn't order an attack on a French ship, Rackham called him out on it and was like, why not? Why not go after this French ship? And the rest of the crew were like, yeah, Captain, why not? Fuck you, he's the captain now. And they put Rackham in charge. Now, they didn't kill Captain Vane or anything like that, but they're like, this guy's in charge now. We're going to talk more about the sort of democratic nature of piracy a little bit later in the episode. But yeah, so he's moved up. Wow. Now, unlike, I don't know, to Calico Jack's credit, I guess, for what it's worth, unlike quite a few other pirate captains of this time, there isn't a record that Calico Jack tortured and murdered people, or at least unnecessarily so. I don't know. Maybe murder, yeah, but it wasn't a torturer to unlike Blackbeard and Black Bart and stuff like that. He was a little bit more like, we're here to steal your shit. and be on our way kind of thing,
Don't
mostly.
don't get in the way or I will kill you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll come out of this alive. Sure,
Yeah.
I get that.
For the most part, right? And it wasn't like he never killed anybody. But
I
he didn't
feel
have,
like
like, a
stuff
crazy
like
record
that
for it.
I feel like stuff like that would be, um, talked about to, reinforce your reputation, though, you know? Like, that would
Mm.
make sense. So the fact that it doesn't exist kinda actually is very telling to me. That's
Mhm.
just how I would take it.
He was he was kinda small time in the sense that his ship, you know, he always, commanded a modest-sized sloop of a ship. It wasn't like he had, like, the Black Pearl or something like that. Really only targeted local fishing boats and local trading ships and merchant ships in the area. But he's probably most famous for those two aforementioned pirates under his command. So in 1719, Calico Jack, he goes to New Providence, which is known today as Nassau in the Bahamas. Sorry, I was like, Nassau. There we go. And
You
he's
got it,
there.
Nassau.
Yeah, thank you. I felt like I was having a little mini stroke for a second. I was like, can't say it. Um,
No, you got there.
thank you. Thank you. Um, and he goes to Nassau, well, sorry, New Providence at this time, to take advantage of the acts of grace, which were from the newly appointed governor, Woodes Rogers. That's a fun name, who was a former pirate himself or privateer. I don't know, but he's kind of like gotten a promotion. He was once raiding the seas and now he's the governor of the Bahamas. And so these pardons for pirates were under the authority of King George, and a pirate would be pardoned for their crimes as long as they went straight, you know, straight and narrow, and they never went back to pirating again.
Join my navy and I'll let you live, basically. Okay.
Well, I mean, you didn't even have to join the Navy, but I mean, you could, I suppose, if you wanted. But you gotta pardon. Pirates were getting kind of out of control. This is again, like I said, this is a little bit towards the end of what is called the Golden Age of Piracy. It's like those last couple decades.
I mean, they
And
controlled everything there for a while, didn't they?
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
That's when the
yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I know it's a media that we're all familiar with. That's when Pirates of the Caribbean is set, like that Golden Age of Piracy, where like
Hmm.
you know, and that's when you see that fight with the East India Trading Company and how like they're struggling to bring piracy to its heel, right? Kind of
Hmm.
thing.
So these acts of grace were given out by the governor. I assume probably for some other local governors, like maybe the governor of Jamaica too. That's an assumption I'm making. But Woodes Rogers of the Bahamas, he's got these, he's got this authority from His Majesty King George, and he's like, right, but I'm not fucking around, you guys. If I pardon you and you take up piracy again, you're dead. Like we will find you and you will be hanged. Calico Jack's like, don't worry. I'm not going to be a scalawag anymore. I will take my pardon. Thank you so much, right? And he goes straight for a time. So Calico Jack's just like hanging out in the taverns in New Providence. He's,
Or
you
just
know.
joining a life of like trading and commerce and stuff, just
Hmm.
not causing problems, basically,
Right.
is the goal here, which isn't a bad way to attack it.
So it's while he's here at these taverns in New Providence that he meets a woman named Bonny. She's one of the two pirates mentioned at the top of our story here. So here's person one. The problem with Bonny's story is that we and the other pirate who I'll talk about in a second. Problem with their story is we only really know about their life in the last couple years. All of their early life up to the point where they're pirates and there's like court records and colonial documents to say like this person's with this crew and we need to find them kind of thing. So all we get about these two pirates is from a 1724 account titled A General History of the Robberies and Murders of the Most Notorious Pirates by Captain Charles Johnson. Almost like he is a contemporary. The book comes out just after a lot of their lives here. Yeah, so Johnson's book is heavily referenced because in a lot of ways it's like the only sort of contemporary book that they have from that time with a lot of historical accounts. Not the only one, I should say, but like is a very popular book with a lot of contemporary accounts. Now, Captain Johnson doesn't ever list his sources. So there's a lot of things he gets right, but at the same time, they're like, there's a lot of stuff that's embellished and there's not sources listed. So basically, what I'm saying is take these accounts of their early life with a grain of salt, but this is what gets repeated about both of them. So Anne Bonny, born in Kinsale of County Cork, Ireland, circa 1698, and was the illegitimate daughter of a lawyer named William Cormac. And old Willie Mack here had an affair with the mayor, an affair with the maid, Mary Brennan, and gets her pregnant, which is such a trope, okay? His wife leaves him. Now, William is so fond of the daughter that he had with Mary the maid that he arranged for the daughter to come and live with him. To avoid scandal, he dressed her as a boy and told people that she, or he in this sense, was a relative who was sent to stay with him and he was going to train him up as a lawyer. So he's coming along to work with me. I'm going to teach him how to be a lawyer. Sooner or later, though, people are like, wait a second. Wait a second. We've figured out what's going on here. And there's a whole scandal. It ruins his reputation and his practice and everything. So he gathers up Anne, the daughter, and Mary, the maid, and the three of them cross the Atlantic and head to Charleston, South Carolina, where he becomes a planter and eventually earns enough money to own his own plantation. Yuck. Okay, so Mary died, and now Anne
is
it. Yeah,
I knew that was coming at some point in this story.
Anne is now a teenager. Her mom dies. She becomes super rebellious. Her dad hates it, right? He's hearing all these rumors that she's out cavorting. She's out at the local taverns and she's drinking. She's banging the fishermen, and he's like, I don't like that. Yeah, he's not happy about it.
Damn girl, she is out sowing her wild oats.
He's like, I don't want to know these things. I'm so mad. But the last straw for him, funny enough, is when Anne settles down and she falls in love with a penniless sailor named John Bonny, and the pair get married. And that's the moment where William is like, that's it. That's all I can take. Not the broke sailor. I can't stand it. Boots around the house.
Finally decides to go study. And then it's like, no,
I don't like this. It doesn't seem like Anne and John are too bothered, though. The pair sail from Charleston down to New Providence in the Bahamas. Now, it's said, you ready for this? It's said that John Bonny starts working as a snitch. Ew, snitches get stitches. So he's turning in local pirates for the bounty money to Governor Woodes Rogers in the Bahamas, who starts making basically like a most wanted list. He's like, oh, this person's a pirate. Oh, this person's a pirate. And is just like bounties.
Not move in to a new neighborhood and just start outing everybody. Are you nuts?
I know. John, you little cad, you.
You certainly weren't married for brain cells, that's for sure. Yeah. Oh my goodness. What?
Right. But this is where Anne and Calico Jack come together. This is where their stories meet. Boom. While her husband John is being a little brown-nosed snitch, Anne is back to her cavorting at the local taverns. Banging the pirates that her husband snitched.
Jack, he was a handsome man. You hear this? I'm not going to sit here and listen to you tell me he wasn't. He's out here like, nah. The harem is real, dude.
He probably was very charismatic, I'm sure, and he had really fun clothes. There's a certain thing where you go, that would probably do it for me, okay.
He maybe rubbed banana peels on his armpits every morning. Okay, he didn't smell as bad as everybody else did. He dressed nice. He had to be somewhat of a looker. Maybe he had a dashing scar. This guy, there's no way this man could be ugly. I'm just saying.
Okay. I have a picture of him that I will put up, but it's like one of those old-timey, like engraving pictures. So who knows what this is actually what it looks like, right? But yeah, there it is. There it is for you all. Anne's out banging the pirates that her husband's snitching on, basically. I mean, she's out of these taverns and and one such paramour is the pirate Calico Jack. This handsome son of a gun here persuades her to leave her narc-ass sailor husband and join him on the high
Narc
seas.
and broke-ass husband. Don't forget he's broke.
And she accepts, and the two, they gather a small crew and a little sloop, and off they go. And John Calico Jack Rackham is now officially retired from straight living and back to piracy. Anne, she's tough as nails, though, dude. She didn't take anyone's shit. And it's said that when she got on board, like, you know, in her first introduction or so to the crew, you know, it's said that one crew member started griping about a woman on board, because that's like a whole thing, right? Don't have ladies on board, they're bad luck. And also, like, what good is she going to do? She's just going to hold us down and be a lady on our ship and fuck everything up, right? And then she just stabs him in the chest. She's like,
that's a girl.
That's what I'm going to do. That's what I can do there. So
yeah, absolutely.
So don't get it wrong, guys. Like, Anne is terrifying, right? So
I was going to say my kind of woman, but anyway.
Yeah, I mean, she's not messing with this at all. On the ship, she would wear, I mean, as on the ship, she was a woman. Like, people knew her as a woman, obviously. She wore women's clothing most of the time, like just when they're aboard the ship, hanging out and sailing. But when they were in pursuit of a target, you know, a ship that they were going to pirate, or if they were in battle at any point, she was always in men's clothes, like, so the long trousers, the kind of, like, honestly, like the typical pirate outfit that you get in your mind was pretty accurate. Like the long trousers, a handkerchief, you know, the white shirt or a jacket over it.
That's what's going to be easiest when you're like swinging around, because you have to board the ship. You're either swinging on a rope, or you're doing that where you pull up next to him and you run a literal plank across and you run across. Like, again, I think that's actually what's so great about the Pirates of the Caribbean is those kind of concepts to us. It's very visual for us to see. Obviously, it's a little bit movie magic, a little more exciting and all that. But it's a good idea of how ships were boarded and were taken and stuff like that.
Yeah. And also, like, okay, if I was a woman on a ship, I also wouldn't want to have, like, layers of skirts that I'm trying to fight in. Of course you have men's clothing that you... Duh, right?
Well, the skirts and stuff are going to get caught. Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually surprised she even wore the dresses. Otherwise, they must have just been more comfortable. Like, in the heat.
I mean, swish around a little bit.
Because the Caribbean is, like, not cold. Like, at all.
It's not, no. As he did in his pirating career, part one, you know, John Rackham continued to target local fishing and small merchant ships. There we go. With that, here comes our second pirate. Her name is Mary Read. Now, it's somewhere in the West Indies, which is pretty much the whole island group of the Caribbean. For the most part, it's like Jamaica, Cuba, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, a bunch of the other smaller islands. So somewhere, basically somewhere in the Caribbean, they capture this ship here. One of the crew members was English, so they persuaded this Englishman to join their crew. They're like, hey, Englishman, come join a fellow English crew. Come on over. Join our side. And Anne tucks hair behind her ear. Anne sees this new recruit and is like, hello, sailor. Like, ooh, who is this handsome chap? Oh my goodness. I'm all about him. Yeah. And there's a moment where Anne is alone with this new English sailor that's been brought aboard. And she's like, so, I'm a lady. Because she's still in her men's clothes, right? Like, she's like, I'm a gal. And if you, and Mary is like, oh no. Oh no. Also, I too am a lady. And yeah, it's like, you won't believe this. I also am a gal. And even might have gone so far as to, like, open up her shirt to be like, I can, like, look, boobs. So
I like how that's the qualifier.
Great. Yeah, it's boobs. It's fine, right? Amazing. So these are our two pirates that we have here for the beginning of our tale. We have Mary Read and Bonny. Now, Anne might have been a little bit disappointed in that moment of like, oh man, the hot new guy on the boat is actually a hot gal, and I don't know, what am I going to do? Now, some sources do say that they were best friends, but they were also best friends. You know what I mean? They might have been lovers, and maybe I don't know. It's like I don't want to
Why
like
not?
why not? Yeah, but also like okay, you know.
Okay, fully on board with this, and Laurel's like, you don't know that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I am on board with the practice. Like that is fine. I'm on board with like the logistics and everything. Like this is great. Like the practice of gay. Like I'm into it, right? But but people sometimes like focus so much on like they were hot lesbian pirates. Cool if they are, great.
Yeah,
But like also like do
yeah,
we
but
need
they
to
make
like
a whole thing out of it.
yeah, like you know they can
Everybody's
be cool.
unshowered. Yeah,
They can be cool
listen.
and stand on their own merits without being like, let's talk about how hot and, you know, how hot they were with each other. I don't know. Right?
Yeah,
Anyway,
unnecessary. I agree.
yeah. So it's just so everyone knows, like, I'm on board. I'm on board that ship.
On board
However,
with the practice lost it, dude. That's gonna be rent free for a long time in my head. Just so you know,
into it. That's great. So totally cool. I hope that was great for everybody involved, you know, but like also like don't make it something that it doesn't necessarily have to be just because of the titillation
embellishment
factor.
unnecessary.
Yeah, you don't need to like titillate
Yes,
for, you know.
sure, definitely, I agree.
Anyway, so I'm moving on there, but that's my 2 cents. Uh, Rackham, and there's also accounts saying that like John thinking that Mary's still a man is like not happy that his lady is really close with this other person on board and got jealous. But you know, he may or may not have. But Rackham does get let into the secret of Mary is like, I also am a lady. So you've got 2 ladies on board. And he was like, okay, this is fine.
Qualifier.
Fine.
I have a secret.
We're okay here.
Secret boobies.
Boobs. It's fine. I'm not trying to
Happy International Women's Day, everybody.
Right.
Secret boobies. Put that on a shirt.
Happy International Women's Day.
If this
Secret
show ever
boobies.
goes on the road, listeners, I'm telling you right now, if this show ever goes on the road, I will clap your googly eyes to my tits when we do this.
Oh, yeah. Maybe Ireland might have us. You know, our listenership there is really exploded, so that'd be good. Like, can you
Really?
host us? Yeah, which is pretty cool. Speaking
Cool.
of Irish
Aer Lingus.
pirates here, yeah, go Aer Lingus, right?
Aer Lingus.
Shout out Aer Lingus. But anyway, so Mary, at least for a little while, it's assumed that she continued being a man. And John Rackham's like, "Yep, that's cool. I will. Your secret's safe with me." I think honestly, very soon after, based on like other documents that I was looking through, I think they found out pretty quickly that she was a woman because there's basically like the wanted poster, I don't know, is for Mary Read, not like an alias for a man Mary Read. She's actually listed as a woman, Mary Read. So at some point it's found out. But anyway, the 2 women certainly had a lot in common, if their early biographies can be believed. So Mary also raised as a boy and also an illegitimate child. Her mother had been married to a sailor, and together they had a son, but the husband died at sea. Her mother-in-law offered to help support the grandson with 1 crown a week, however much that is. But the son dies too. And the mom, she quickly finds herself pregnant again. And she's so horrified at the thought of having an illegitimate child that she goes to the English countryside. She hangs out with her friends, has this child. And her mom just dresses Mary up as a boy, and for the mother-in-law disguises her as the son who's
alimony, dude. Like
who's died. Yeah,
mom-in-law alimony.
Yeah, she's like, this is how I keep some money flowing in. So she tries to pass Mary off as this deceased grandson, and I guess it works for a while. But at a certain point, Grandma catches on and stops her financial support. So her mom continued with the boys' clothing after that and just would rent Mary out as a servant or like a footman and stuff. And Mary's really good at being a boy, though. That's like she's good at it. And she likes it. By 13, she serves as a powder monkey on a British man of war during the War of the Grand Alliance. Fun. So
I
a
mean, if you
powder
think
monkey.
about it,
Yeah.
she would see the difference between the way the genders are treated. Why wouldn't you pick the one with more independence and more standing? Like, it honestly makes sense. It's like, well,
Right?
duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, why wouldn't you? So she's a powder monkey at 13. So that's the kids basically. I mean, as you know, it's the teenagers, the young teenage boys they would bring aboard to take gunpowder from below to the guys making the cannons and just run back and forth and get gunpowder. Cool. She likes it. She does it. She next joins the Army of Flanders, and she served as both an infantryman and in the cavalry. Damn, Mary. Okay. During this time in the Flanders Army, her bunkmate, like the guy sharing the tent with her, she falls in love with him. She's like, oh, he's so cute. I've seen his butt. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? They're probably...
He showered more than the others.
Maybe. I don't know, right? Like, ugh. And this guy, finding out that Mary is indeed a woman, is like, nice, cool, I'm about it. And it was, but he's about it in the sense that, like, awesome, like, we can just bang. This is going to be great. Like, I'll be able to get my rocks off while I'm in the army.
It's exactly what I would expect.
Right, yeah. And she was like, oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, sir. Despite the appearances, I am a proper lady. Despite what clothes I am wearing and what I might look like, I am a lady, and I am a proper one at that. So we're not going to be
girl has boundaries.
bang buddies.
You got to respect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, we're not fuck buddies here. This, you know, like, you are going to marry me if this is what this is going to turn into. No, she announces to the army, she's like, I'm a girl. And then the two get married and they open a tavern called the Three Horseshoes.
What?
Now, her new husband.
That's not the turn I expected that to take. I was like,
whoop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, she owns a tavern now and she's married.
We unexpectedly exited the roundabout. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a turn for sure. But it's somewhat brief. This tavern does well because a lot of soldiers are in town because of this war that's going on and stuff. And so business is good. Her husband, sadly, for her at least, dies pretty soon after they get married and open this tavern. But Mary continues to run it until, you know, war ends or the soldiers get pulled out of the area. And so there's like nobody to come drink. And so they're doing their soldiering elsewhere. Mary's like, fine, I'll shut down the tavern. But Mary did what Mary does best. And you know what that is?
Pivot.
Be a man, pivot. She pivoted. Boom. Again. She was swift as a coursing river with all...
Somebody call Fa Mulan right now. This is what I'm talking about.
All the strength of a great typhoon, right? She was certainly mysterious as the dark side of the moon, though, because she's like, I'm going to be a man again, and I'm going to join a Dutch ship sailing for the West Indies, so that the island group sailing for the Caribbean there. And when they get there, they're then captured by British pirates, who... Here's where our stories merge. Being English themselves, were like, hey, Englishmen, join our crew. Here we go. Everything's merged together. Again, the two women are besties. Like, they continue their pirate journey together. They fight side by side, like a machete in one hand, a flintlock pistol in the other.
Two ladies making it in a very male-dominated world. Like, honestly, It makes a lot of sense to me. Safety in numbers, right? Like,
yeah, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what's the thing? What's the trend? Like, I love seeing women in male-dominated fields. Like, I love it. I love seeing a woman in a male-dominated field.
It's nice to see people prove that gender doesn't actually matter as much as everybody thinks it does.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to say it.
We're going to talk about that in a little while. So they had, you know, they're armed to the teeth because that was the thing that pirates would do. You wanted to have multiple pistols because a flintlock pistol, well, it's not necessarily the most reliable gun that's ever existed in history to begin with, but especially if you're on a ship and water exists. Like, if anything got wet, your pistol wouldn't work. So you'd have to have a bunch of them so you could pull them out and
like in Pirates when they get back in the third one and they all actually, that moment when they're all like pointing them at each other, it's like, so remember the green flash? They flip the ship upside down.
Mm-hmm.
and they all like are pointing their pistols at each other, and they actually would have all killed each other in that moment. I always take that moment to be like, dude, this series could have ended right here. And then like wet powder. I was like, what
That's
the
right.
hell?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like pirates frequently had, all the cutlass, machete, multiple pistols. They were just armed all over because like if anything went wrong, you have to
Stashed.
pull out the
Armed
next
to the
one and
teeth.
then like shoot and then, cutlass with this hand and, pull out the other gun. And yeah, that was part of fighting in that time,
Pirates
right?
are kind of like actually the original Mary Poppins, if you think about it. They were always ready.
Just reaching down in a never ending carpet bag and just like pulling out all this stuff, My gosh.
The pirate who stays ready doesn't have to get ready and stays alive.
Right. And that was the thing. Yeah. There were rules
Lifelong
around.
advice
Right.
from RuPaul. If you stay ready, you don't got to get ready.
Yeah. Stay strapped, stay ready, And let's be honest. I mean, when we're talking about them fighting, there's this very popular picture. I'll have it up for people watching right now. There's this very popular picture, engraving or whatever, of Bonny. And her hair, she's got she's got the whole pirate look going on, right? The white billowy shirt, the trousers. She's got a machete in one hand or a sword or something. And she's got her flintlock pistol in the other. And she's like looking and she's firing. The wind is catching her hair. And the shirt, of course, the shirt is like open, just so open. It's the most open. Like she might not even be wearing a shirt anymore. It's just sleeves. Just so open. Tits out. Just like, So, right.
Incredible.
But let's make
she
no
knew
bones
how
about
she
it.
wanted to be immortalized, and
She's
I
like,
love that for her.
Yeah, the wind blows her shirt open, tits, hair. It's great. But let's, sexy aside, make no bones about it. Both of these women were absolutely terrifying. They were just as brutal as the men.
They kill you.
Yeah, they were just as brutal as the men.
Possibly more.
Yeah, in some accounts, from people, like sometimes they were worse, or they would lead the men and like they would cuss at him and be like, like telling them what to do. They're like, no. They certainly come across, I should say, as more fearless in a lot of accounts. It's not like a tea party. These gals aren't messing around.
Being a pirate, first of all, is not an easy place to live, and then add being a female to that, on like pretty much all male-dominated ships. I don't have to go far with the imagination for you to imagine what that kind of life would be like. And just the risks and whatnot involved. Yeah, I'm not surprised they were like that. I would be too.
Right? You'd have to be, really. So like I said, we get the most about Anne and Mary's lives within these last couple of years, these pirating years. And it's the late summer, early fall of 1720, where it's a mostly good time for Rackham and his crew. In August, they're sailing around the Bahamas. Boom. They stop in the New Providence harbor and they commandeer, they pirate a ship called the William. Now, this is a very common piratey thing to do, right? You steal a ship out of the harbor. You're like, see ya, suckers, kind of thing. But this causes an uproar in the Bahamas. They're like, how dare they? How dare they steal the William out of our harbor? Like, these damn pirates, they're out of control. The
not
governor.
The William. You crossed the line at William.
The William. Not the William. Oh, no. I think they might have renamed it the Revenge. There's been a couple of accounts where I saw it called the Revenge. So I don't know if they renamed it, but the William was the ship that they stole. And the governor, right? People are pissed. The governor, Woodes Rogers, this guy again, he's pissed. He's like, not on my watch. And he puts out the 18th century equivalent of a APV, right? Like, be on the lookout for John Calico Rackham, Calico Jack Rackham. And
incredible.
Quote, so this is where I'm like, they definitely know that they're women at this point. Quote, 2 women by the name Anne Fulford, alias Bonny, and Mary Read. 2 ships with guns and crews were sent out to chase after these pirates, like find them, bring them back, track them down. And on one of those ships is this famed pirate hunter, Jonathan Barnett. He's well known. I'm like, I shrug. I'm like, I don't know who he is, but he is like the big pirate hunter of the time. So
We're
the
more
chase is
enamored
on.
with criminals, it turns out.
Right. Who's that guy? So the chase is on between Rackham and his crew, and then these two ships. The William and her crew, they go off, and in that time they strike 7 fishing boats. A couple weeks later, they hit 2 merchant ships with a much higher payload. And then a few weeks after that, Anne and Mary led a raid against a schooner. So they're just moving on up in their hits here. They get on board. They're like cussing. They're shooting. They're like, they get on board. Yeah. They're cussing at people. They're like, yeah, surrender your ship. They're leading this thing, right? Like they're not messing around. They steal 50 rolls of tobacco, 9 bags of pimento, and then tackle from the boat, as well as their captain, Thomas Spenlow, whom they take hostage for a couple of days. They're just absolute menaces. That same day that they steal this schooner, they seize a freaking canoe. Now, the canoe is like, it's not quite like the canoe that we would think of, although I'm going to make jokes about it being that sort of size, but it's actually more of like, it's kind of closer to like a Jamaican fishing boat. So multiple people besides like 2 or 3 can fit on a canoe. So I'm sure it's canoe-like, but
so kind of like those big boats that the Northern Pacific tribes would whale on, probably. They're big fucking canoes.
Probably, yeah, something like that. Now there's a woman on this canoe, and her name is Dorothy. Poor Dorothy Thomas. Our Dorothy, she just wanted to go out and canoe or go fish or whatever she's doing on her canoe. And Anne and Mary are arguing with Calico Jack. They're like, we need to kill Dorothy. They're like, kill Dorothy because she could go to the authorities and tattle on us. And Calico Jack,
nobody else is going to? What the hell?
Right? I know, like, they've hit 7 fishing boats, 2 merchant ships, and then the schooner and stuff like that. They've got the fucking captain of the other ship, right? Yeah. And they're like, kill Dorothy because she's gonna grass us up. And Calico Jack is like, no, stop it. Leave her alone.
Jack is a reasonable man, first of all. He's really bringing in as a hero right now.
It's like, girls, no. She's our canoeing enthusiast. It's Dorothy. Leave her alone. Poor thing. So he doesn't. But much to the disappointment of Anne and Mary, they were like, you better kill her. I know, right?
Heathens, calm down.
But considering they had like a good little streak here for a couple of months, the luck runs out for the William and her crew. Jonathan Barnett, catches up one night with Rackham's ship. It's late at night. They can't really see each other very well. He calls for Rackham's surrender, but Rackham's like, no. Boom, fires his gun and then takes off. This is a ship running, but a ship sailing fast. Barnett catches up. And not only catches up, but then hits him and promptly returns with a broadside. Well, shit. Their ship is a lot stronger, right? A lot more guns, faster.
He rams them?
Broadside attack, shoots them.
Oh,
so like
okay.
that broadside when the ships are like this side by side.
With the cannons.
Shoot.
Sure.
It takes out the Williams boom, so it effectively disables the ship, and they get boarded.
Yeah.
And during the firing, a lot of the men run down to the hold. The only 2 people, according to these accounts, the only 2 people that stay on the deck of the ship, and, again, cutlass in one hand, pistol in the other, is Anne and Mary, and they're going to defend the ship. And here we go. So, like, they're standing side by side, right? Mary.
I'm sensing a lot of toxic energies feeding off of each other here.
Now, legend has it that Mary, as she's standing side by side with Anne, she is so pissed that the men wouldn't come out and fight alongside that she yells down the stairs to the hold. And she's like, if there be a man among you, you'll come up and fight like the man you are to be. I don't know. That was like the weirdest accent I ever put with that.
Nah,
I'm all right. Was it okay?
It.
Like, I didn't know if I should go like West Country because she's English. I wasn't sure if I go like kind of West Country or if
she wasn't the Irish girl? Oh,
No, she wasn't the Irish one. So I did like I said, I did
You know
a
what,
bit of a
though?
weird
Pirates
accent.
have hard R's.
It's okay.
We're going to go with it.
All right. Thank you so much. But when no one comes out, she fires her gun down into the hold, just randomly just shoots down there at them like, you dogs. Kills one of them. And soon Anne and Mary are overpowered.
Don't be a coward.
Don't be a coward. They're overpowered. Everyone on the ship is captured and taken back to Spanish Town, Jamaica. At the trial, the male pirates are all found guilty of piracy and all, associated acts. And they are sentenced to death because, as I said earlier, piracy is a death sentence. And especially Calico Jack, he got that pardon and then went back to piracy. So he's like doubly in trouble. You know what I mean?
He's double dead.
Yeah. The men, again, they're all sentenced and they are eventually hung. I'm going to kind of skip ahead in our timeline a little bit back and forth. Mary and Anne's trials are several days later. Okay. And their prosecution had witnesses. Great. So Captain Thomas Spenlow, who was the captain of the schooner they attacked and then took him hostage. He's like, yeah, those guys and those ladies, they're all in cahoots. And then our canoe girl, Dorothy, she testifies and she said, they're like, why did you know it was women? Because she was like, the women. They're like, how'd you know it was women? She's like, because they have breasts. Quote, the reason of her knowing and believing them to be women then was by the largeness of their breasts, is what she says. She's like, duh, I know what I'm looking at. Yeah. She's like, I can see them. I like how girls are like, yeah, no, that's a gal. They're like, that's fine. I see
I mean, honestly, yeah, it's fair.
Whatever.
But also, it's just one of those things. I don't understand why this is the qualifier, but I mean, there it is.
Obviously. All the witnesses, they spoke about how the women swore and yelled at the men and ordered them around, and the crew, they were very much a part of the crew. They were in it. They killed, they plundered, they did all the pirate things, and they were not coerced into any of this. They were just as much a part of this. All right, so let's go back to Calico Jack and his pirates. So they were scheduled to be hanged, and his final wish was to see Anne, but the only thing she had to say to him was, if you had fought like a man, you need not have been hanged like a dog. Go on now. If you would have fought back with us, we wouldn't be here right now. Go on now.
Damn.
So they're all the men, they're hung, and Rackham's body was put in an iron cage and hung out at Dead Man's Cay, now called Rackham's Cay, as a warning to other pirates. All right. Now
that's brutal,
right?
What a horrible way to die. I would definitely rather take the news.
He was hanged, and then his body was put.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, whoa, that's so they were all better. Hanged. So I'm just gonna say so much better.
Yeah, they were all hanged, but his body was put in that cage so people could see what happens to pirates when you fuck with the crown, basically. Now again, Anne and Mary are also pirates, and they have been proven to be as much a pirate as any of the guys were. They weren't coerced into anything. And the price of piracy is death. So these gals, they get their sentence. Quote, hear this out here. Quote, you, Mary Read, and Anne Bonny, alias Bon, are to go from hence to the place from whence you came, and from thence to the place of execution, where you shall be severally hanged by the neck till you are severally dead, and God of his infinite mercy be merciful to both your souls. Well, fiddlesticks, it's not looking too great for Anne and Mary, is it? But maybe they've got, a trick or two up their sleeves. We'll see. We'll check back in with them in a little bit. In the meantime, welcome to the halfway point. We hope that you've been enjoying your adventure on the high seas aboard the SS Smoke Circle. And if you have been enjoying yourself so far, we want to make sure that you don't miss another adventure with Katie and I. So make sure that you follow, subscribe, whatever it is on the platform that you're listening or watching on. And if you're really liking what you're hearing, please make sure that you rate and review the show. It's one of the best ways that you can help our little podcast out for free. And if you're like, well, I really, really like what they're doing, and you want to get a little bit of extra content, you want to have some historical movie nights, you want to be able to access the amazing half-baked episodes that we have. After this episode, it goes right into a little mini episode. You get an extra Lady Pirate if you join our Best Buds Club. That's our Patreon. And over there, you can access all these mini episodes and all the extra content that we have posted there for the price of like a fancy coffee a month. And we really appreciate the financial support. It helps keep the proverbial lava lamps on here at High Tales of History. And make sure that you're also keeping up with what we're doing on the other days of the week when we're not here with you. We're over on Instagram at High Tales of History or on TikTok at High Tales of History Pod. Our Patreon and our social media are all linked in our show notes below. And if you're really liking this pirate episode, we've also linked all of our pirate episodes that we've done over nearly 5 years of this podcast. There are a lot of different pirates that we have covered. So you can just dig in. You can keep the sailing adventure going. And with that, we should probably go jump back in with Anne and Mary. So without further ado, let's puff pass it on to part 2. And they're like, oh, it got really real all of a sudden. Then they look at each other. They're like, is this the moment? Yeah, this is the moment. Okay, uno reverse. We plead the belly, which means we are pregnant. We are pregnant, and therefore you cannot hang us.
Oh,
well,
really?
So
okay.
yeah, so custom and law dictates that if a woman prisoner, is sentenced to death, she cannot have her sentence until after the birth of the child. We could only assume that this must cause a little bit of commotion because they're like, wait, what? You guys both are? But there is an examination, and they are indeed both pregnant, and their sentences are, put on hold. Now, unfortunately, Mary contracted typhus while she was in prison, and she died the following spring. So this is November. She died in April. As for Anne, we don't really know for sure what happened to her. What we do know is that she got out of jail somehow. Some sources think it was because her dad, became more and more rich and influential in Charleston that he pulled a favor in with the crown or with the government there, or the governor, I should say.
So neither of them were actually pregnant?
No, they both were. They were indeed pregnant.
Oh, they were? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So their sentences were, whatever you say, like commuted or reprieved or whatever until they were to have their kid. So
we exited that roundabout really fast again.
Right?
Like, no.
Uno reverse. Boom. Get off that roundabout. So it's thought that Anne went back to Charleston. Her dad got her out of jail, and she went back to Charleston, got remarried, lived out the rest of her days. But I read in one of my sources, and all my sources are in my show notes here, read in one of my sources that there's been more recent research where they might have found a record of her possibly dying in Jamaica. So she might have stayed on the island for the rest of her days. Maybe. I don't know. The common thought is that she might have gone back to Charleston, but we don't know for sure. Anne Bonny and Mary Read are the only 2 documented female pirates of what is known as the Golden Age of Piracy. Again, like 1650-ish to 1730. Right, classic Pirates of the Caribbean sort of thing.
Exactly.
Now, piracy, of course, has existed in other time periods and in other places in the world. So we have talked about other female pirates on the show.
Notes.
See show notes for all the pirates. So there are certainly other female pirates in the world. Ching Shih, Ching Shih, right? That was episode 1. I've also talked about Sayyida al-Hurra, who was a Barbary. She's a corsair. She's a Barbary pirate. So she's from Morocco. But yeah, but there have been other female pirates. And in fact, for our Patreon members, so any of our paid members tiers, if you stay tuned after this episode, you get a bonus half-baked episode thrown in. We have another lady pirate, actually from Ireland, again, another Irish lady pirate that we're going to be talking about. So if you're a Patreon member, if you're Best Bled, you stay tuned to the end of this and you'll be able to hear about one extra lady pirate. A lot of people are like, okay, so what? Hang on. How were these ladies on the ship? How were they not noticed? What? Why? What about their periods? That's my question.
All valid questions.
All valid questions, you know. A lot of times pirate crews, well, naval crews in general, but especially like pirate crews and stuff, a lot of sailors were very young men. So for a woman on board who wasn't like shaving and things like that, like checked out, most of them weren't shaving. A lot of them were like teenagers. So if you didn't have facial hair, that wasn't like the weirdest thing. And you have loose enough tops so that way, you know, if you had boobs, you could kind of cover them up enough. I would have been a great little cabin boy because I am shaped like a 2x4 and have a square enough jaw that maybe people would go, "Oh, that's a boy." Swab the decks, you know.
Ironically, I think I get mistaken as a male more than Laurel does. Literally all the time. Got pulled on stage for it, and I was like, I'm not a dude.
I'm not a dude.
Should I have flashed the audience my tits?
That's when you get them out. You're like, hang on here, I can prove it.
There were children in the audience, though.
Oh
so
yeah,
probably...
don't do that. Yeah. So it wouldn't be like the weirdest thing, but a lot of pirate ships were refitted merchant ships. A lot of pirates were merchant sailors at one point. The thing about the merchant ship, which is really interesting, I should say any of the Navy under the crown, you know, like there's certainly a hierarchy. There's hard and fast rules. Punishment is doled out harshly and severely and frequently. And so, especially on a merchant ship, it was also a smaller crew. So like a lot more people, like basically everyone had to do a lot of work, you know, it wasn't like a huge crew where you're like, I get to have a day off or something. And the pirate ships ended up basically being like a little floating mini democracy, essentially. You know, there was a captain, yes, but pirate ships didn't adhere to this really strict hierarchy that was like the same on land, right? You have like a lord, you've got the king and a lord, and like that sort of, you know, classist hierarchy that you'd have in the UK. On pirate ships, yes, there was a captain, and the captain might get like a share more of the booty, but otherwise things were distributed fairly, you know, equally amongst the crew. And also the crew had a say on where they sailed to, when they sailed, you know, like the crew was in charge of like the navigation, essentially, of like, this is where we're going next, and this is what we're gonna do. And the pirate's like, okay. The captain, I should say.
I feel like that is also really well shown in Pirates of the Caribbean. Like, you see, how often do you see the crew argue with Jack? They're like, what's our heading? And Jack says this. Like, it's more in the newer ones, Laurel. I don't know if you've seen them, but they'll be like, well, we don't want to do that. Like, you haven't been leading us well. We're fucking out, or mutiny and whatnot. Like,
yeah,
I feel like in moments that is actually really well outlined, where they're like, you know, that democracy, like you're talking about, if they're like, well, we don't agree with that, you know, and it's like you're at the mercy of a crew at that point. Precarious position.
It was a democracy, yes. Like, let's not fool ourselves. It was not like egalitarian necessarily. A lot of attitudes on gender and race that were held on land were also held on sea, you know, in a lot of ways. I mean, more likely than not, if a pirate ship encountered a slave ship, or they captured a ship that had enslaved people on board, whether as cargo or as, so gross to say, whether that was like the cargo or whether they were a part of the crew but enslaved, that they weren't like, we're going to emancipate all of you, you know. You're like, you are also now our cargo or enslaved on our ship, or they were put into like servant-like tasks for the other crew members. I'm sure there were some that had an abolitionist heart, but overwhelmingly it was still like, like men are better than women, and also if you're enslaved on the ship too, or we're selling you. You know, it was, you know, like this is still very much during the transatlantic slave trade, so there was still that, unfortunately.
Smack dab in the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Whoa.
In fact,
Yeah.
actually, in our stories, remember when we had Brandon Dowd from History Nerds United on the show for our Halloween episode, and he
Yeah.
did Sam
Mhm.
Bellamy, very famous
Yeah.
American captain, Sam Bellamy, and the Whydah Galley. The Whydah was actually a slave ship. So when Sam captured that ship, it
Oh.
was a slave ship. There was like, I think there were 500 enslaved persons aboard, enslaved Africans, let's be real. And then like indigo, sugar, ivory. It was one of the monetarily richest hulls, and
Right.
capturing of a pirate ship in
Easily.
history. Yeah. So, but it wasn't like, we're gonna free you. Like, no, you are right. So let's call it where it's fair there. But it was still like a
Yeah.
democracy in terms of like how it was run, right? So when it came to ladies on board, if they were found to be ladies, it was found out, the accounts that are found are that as long as, let's say, Katie, you're on board, right? Oh, Johnny there. That's Katie's our guy Johnny. And Johnny's really good at his job. He if the storm's happening, he's like one of the first ones up the riggings to like go and batten down things and like tie it all up and jump on in and
Tie the mast up so we
tie
don't
the
get dragged
mast
around
up,
by the
do
storm,
do all the ship
shit like that.
things. And it's found out when we cross the equator, and that's like a thing. When you cross the equator, you shave. All the men get shaved. They shave. I don't know. They shave their beard when they
I didn't
cross
know
the.
that.
I don't know. It's a thing, I guess. But Johnny here, or Katie, Johnny doesn't have facial hair to shave. There's nothing going on there,
My mustache never came in.
everyone kind of goes, yeah, you know what, Johnny's not. What is going on with Johnny? And it turns out that Johnny is Katie is a lady, and uh, there's this account where this woman is found to be a man at the crossing of the equator, and I think her name is Mary Thomas. Sorry, I'm pulling the story out my back pocket here, but and the captain was like, "Oh, okay, well, she's the fucking best I have on this crew. Like, so she stays." And everyone
Carry
respected her
on
because they
then.
know, yeah, because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, like you're amazing, and we've all loved you. So like, even if you're a gal, I mean, okay, like it's a little getting used to, but you're our Johnny, and that's fine, kind of thing. And that seems to be the case. And if anything, in the case of Anne and Mary, not only were they very much a part of the crew, but they also are shown in these leadership roles too. And that was not something that
Oh,
was
definitely.
like, women leaders, what? And so
They
pirate ships.
didn't get there by accident, though. They were pretty brutal to get to that point, though. I was just
Hmm.
gonna point that out.
Yeah, it's one of those things where gender roles are a little bit different in the democracy of a pirate ship, and it really kind of shows that, like, yeah, the women on board these ships could do and would do whatever was needed. Whenever these accounts come up, the ladies are always like, oh, they're like, oh yeah, no, no, she's great. She can stay. This is awesome. Even though it wasn't like the most common thing you would ever see, in this time period, especially, women were aboard merchant ships. They were aboard pirate ships, and especially with the generally democratic nature of a pirate ship, where the crew, the captain, I should say, gets consent from the crew to to command and to lead, which we saw with Calico Jack and Captain Vane in the beginning. He didn't go after that French ship, and they're like, nah, he's our captain now because he's got the guts to do it. Whereas, like, on these merchant ships, or if you're sailing under the crown, um, the captain ruled all, and the captain, you
Right.
know, there was that strict hierarchy on board. And then you had the terribleness of life on the seas, scurvy and shipwrecks and storms, all these different things that like is creating this pressure and stress on both sides of it here. So that's like mutinies would happen, or people would ditch and be like, I'm gonna go be a pirate because, like, fuck your rules, and also, like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm done with this. So that's Am Bonny and Mary Read there.
I love that. You know what actually was really interesting to me, and I don't know if you knew this. And I don't know why this wasn't included in the Pirates of the Caribbean. Do you know the Jack's whole backstory? That is actually like the director came out and wrote about it, and like
Mhm.
it just wasn't included in the movies, and I think they should have. Probably for historical accuracy. Now that you say that, they didn't. But I just thought it was a really cool
People aren't
thing to do to
cargo,
Jack's
the
people
100
are
souls.
cargo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 99 souls, and I was like, that's like, I
99, yeah.
just yeah. I just thought it was really cool, like a cool part of Jack's backstory. And I'm like, why didn't you give us that?
Mhm.
Like, because you're obviously supposed to root for him. He's clearly your, like, protagonist, even though he's the pirate, is he, really the monster versus
Mhm.
Beckett, who just is, branding people and being so horrible. I'm not going to say that pirates aren't, because, like you said, they would rob people so that they can continue living, but, like, very seafaring Robin Hoods. But
Yeah. I
But
think
I just
that's
thought that
what's
was really interesting.
yeah, I think and I this is one of those things I learned about, but I didn't necessarily write about, so I'm pulling this out my back pocket as well too.
Mhm.
But the romanticism of the pirates were certainly not good people. Yeah, I
Mm-mm.
mean, like they murdered, they tortured,
No.
they raped, they pillaged, I mean, there's all the
Right.
bad things that they did.
Black Sails is a lot more of a, reasonable,
Mhm.
showing of what they are versus but you see the democracy there, you see the mutiny, you see, like, the brutality, like, that's honestly very accurate, so that's probably
Yeah.
it. But I just thought, like, because you're obviously suspending disbelief to watch Pirates of the Caribbean anyway,
Sure.
I just
Yeah.
thought that was a really cool addition to Jack's character, and I feel like you miss out on that. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
people aren't cargo. That I mean,
For
and I
those of
think
you that
also
don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't think we said, there's a
oh,
backstory with Jack where when he meets Davy Jones or whatever, how he says 99 souls or something. Jack had captured a slaving ship and he freed the people on board because he was sent to capture cargo. And I think that's when he turns into a pirate because he says, people are not cargo. And he totally,
yeah.
which, as Laurel said, was not accurate to the time. So,
Yeah,
but
I
I
mean
just thought it was a cool addition to Jack's
mhm.
character, and Disney, it's come out, like, the Jerry Bruckheimer, right? He's the guy who did, Pirates, I think?
Yeah, or is the
Um,
producer at least for it.
yeah, they all said, they're like, "This is written, like, this is canon, but we
Mhm.
just didn't include it," and I was like, "What the fuck? Why not?" I don't know.
Yeah, it's I mean, I not
I
to
just thought
say
it
I
was
mean,
interesting.
there could have been pirates like that. I'm not saying that there weren't. I'm just saying
Maybe,
overwhelmingly
but
the attitude was more of like,
yeah, I was gonna
yeah.
say, no, it's important to say how it was because you need to be accurate, and that's
Mhm.
important. I just thought,
Yeah.
again, when you're suspending disbelief for the story of Pirates of the Caribbean in the first place,
Mhm.
I thought that was a cool part of it. And since you brought it up, I was going to also bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, the pirate story really captures the public imagination for sure. I mean, it that
It's cool.
really the romanticism of it and the treasure, right? Like the treasure and the
Mhm.
captains and their,
Treasure.
their great hats and stuff like that. Um,
The best hats.
right, the best hats. That initially came out of Robert Louis Stevenson, Treasure Island. That was where we first
Treasure
get
Island.
That's where we first
Mhm.
get, like, the pirate as, like, a cool baddie and, like, treasure maps and
Mhm.
buried treasure and all that sort of thing. It was a
Yeah.
story that he wrote with his family while they were on vacation somewhere. He is
Really?
Scottish. He's from yeah, he himself is Scottish. I don't know, maybe they're in the Highlands or somewhere, but they were on vacation. It was really rainy, um, and each night he would kind of co-write the story with his children, and they
Oh, that's so
created
fun.
this map, and his son was like making a
Oh,
map for fun, and he then started going, oh,
yeah.
this is a treasure map, and started adding little bits in. He's like, let's make this into a story. And so it was so popular and so loved that it became like a serial thing. Like
It's
one
a
chapter was
classic.
released, to the newspaper, and then it got to the
Oh,
point
that's
where
cool.
yeah, and so he decided to release it as a book, and then it got more popular and really
Yeah,
launched the pirate as this romantic figure, or
sure.
a romantic figure, but also the
Mhm.
romanticism of pirates and buried treasure.
That's really cool. I didn't know that about Treasure
Yeah.
Island. I mean, then you have, like, how many times has it been adapted? You know,
Right. I mean, okay, on the count of 3, who's your favorite Long John Silver? 1, 2, 3. Tim Curry.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
stop.
I don't know that I've seen any of them except Treasure Planet. Don't hate me.
Oh, okay. Katie,
I was
you
like,
need to
get the
watch.
fuck out.
You need to watch Muppets Treasure Island and have
The
Tim Curry
Muppets.
be.
Okay, all right.
Tim Curry is the best Long John Silver. And Long John Silver as a character, he is the cook. His leg was amputated aboard another ship, which was common, right? Cooks were typically made from men who were disabled in some way because they worked down below. And Long John Silver is both simultaneously incredibly charismatic and like you want to root for him, but he's also on the same turn there. A villain, yeah. He's ruthless. He's brutal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's their Robert Louis Stevenson I almost said Treasure Planet, Treasure Island pirate.
Sorry.
And then along later, comes Lord Byron, the famous romantic poet. Lord Byron has the Corsair story, and so that's fucking romantic and like, oh, look at this, he's so handsome and cool. Yeah. And then also in that same sort of time period, you then have another Scotsman, J.M. Barrie, who wrote Peter Pan, and we get Captain Hook, who is like the aristocrat pirate, right? He is cool. He's got his Charles II wig. He's got his long coat. Yep. His hook for a hand.
Hot.
Hot. Dustin Hoffman. I was like, 1, 2, 3, Dustin Hoffman. That's who it is. That's my Captain Hook. No, that's one of those roles that, like, if you're an actor and you get the part of Captain Hook, you're like, fuck yeah, I've made it. That's such a fun role to sink your teeth into, kind of thing. Yeah. But these were the start of the romanticized pirate, and why the pirate has cemented itself in the public imagination, and the romanticism of like, oh, buried treasure and Treasure Island, and like the captains are kind of aristocratic and hot, and like, Captain Jack, right? He's kind of quirky and weird, but he's also really hot,
Oh yeah. He's devilishly handsome, I believe, but also it's that roguish character, right? Like that's what's so exciting about Jack, is he's kind of chaos incarnate, that chaotic neutral. Yeah. He's kind of like the Cheshire Cat, but that's what makes them so interesting, right?
Mm-hmm. People love a pirate. I just got to keep it real and say pirates were shit. Sometimes, like most times, they were shitty people.
They were not good. They were not good people. But
no. But it's a fun story, and we've talked about pirates a lot on the show. So all my notes are in the show notes. I have a couple of articles. My main source was Under the Black Flag by David. Oh my gosh, I should have had this written down. David Cordingley. There we go. Under the Black Flag: The Romance and the Reality of Life Among Pirates. And a few articles there.
Flag. Yeah, love that.
Love it. It's a good book. It talks about, and there's a few of them. That's kind of a more popular one. There's also Marcus Rediker, who wrote a book called Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, and talks a lot about that democracy, right? The democracy of the pirate ship and life as a pirate on that ship, particularly on the merchant ship. So that book is actually referenced quite a bit in the book I read, when they talk about pirate life, because on a merchant ship, you are pressed between the devil, who is the captain, and the deep blue sea, and the pressure of being, in that hierarchy of a merchant ship. Yeah. So if you want more pirates, again, like I said, if you are a Best Bud, so any of our paid levels of Patreon and the Best Buds Club, stick around after we say goodbye to the rest of the Smoke Circle. You guys get to hang, and we're going to learn about another pirate baddie. But Katie, how do you feel about lady pirates?
I always loved lady pirates. Like, is that even a question? Probably one of my favorite Tinkerbell movies is The Pirate Fairy, obviously.
That one's fun. That one is fun. Pretty sure that's the one where Tom
You've
Hiddleston...
seen the Tinkerbell movies too?
Not all of them, but I watched that one because Tom Hiddleston was the voice of the captain. So,
yes, he is.
yeah.
Tom Hiddleston is the voice of the captain. My favorite one is definitely Secret of the Wings. I'm just gonna say it. But the close second is the Pirate Fairy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, if you
why
have a
I
problem
watched
with my
that movie.
Tinkerbell love,
Nope.
you
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
I am a multifaceted individual. Will I absolutely get in the most brutal metal pits ever to get punched in the face and to like scream my feelings out at the world? Yes.
Yeah.
But also I will finish the night with Taco Bell and Tinkerbell. So you can't
Taco Bell and Tinkerbell.
Can't tell me what to do. I am just my own free-willed individual.
Using that adult free will
probably a cat.
to the best.
Oh yeah.
Right there. Yeah. Well, it was fun talking pirates with you. I look forward to talking about another one with you. This will be good. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us on this quest, this journey on the high seas for sure. And Katie will be back with you again. In the meantime, get money, get high, give love, and
happy International Women's Day. Let's just start there. That's super. I mean, I know that's not today, but I'm just saying in honor of the lady pirates and their
Women's History Month.
Ability to be male dominant. Yep. But then I'm also going to say, like what I said earlier, is pay people compliments when they deserve them, because there is not enough kindness in this world, is what I've come to see from traveling abroad and whatnot recently. People just need a little kindness, man, which is kind of funny coming at the end of a pirate episode where people are so brutal to each other. So let's take this moment.
Be kind.
I don't mean kumbaya, but yeah. But, I mean, gosh darn it. If you like a lady's nails, tell her about it. If you think her hair is great, tell her about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just let's
be a girl's girl.
Let us not worry about looking foolish, and let us lift each other up and hold each other close. So there you go. Pay compliments. Nice. Go girls. How exciting.
All right.
I know I'm finger gunning, but I am.
Flintlock pistol. And with that, you can all disembark. Stay tuned, Best Buds, for your bonus content. Bye, everybody.
Bye.